Hello. It's very late, as upon occasion I find that it is at around this time in the early morning. Good morning. I've just finished preparing my opening statements for a debate that's taking place online in about 12 hours. It will be on YouTube and other platforms. And so let's look at some blades. The day before yesterday, I took this one out. Blades and handles and accoutrements and all that. So this is my Kanata. Now it's going to look awfully scratchy under the light, but that was because I made the error of flattening it a little bit. And to get it all the way flat, a lot of grinding. And then, here on the bevel, it's going to look a little messy there. But you'll see that is a wicked edge. It's a good edge. Well, I mean, it's an empty matchbox. Let's try it. No, it's not that kind of edge. But it'll do that for you. I mean, I did take it out and was chopping on it. The hemlock and that kind of stuff. But yesterday is kind of today for me. Still, as it were. I was gonna take this out, and I felt like I just feel like this is so great with this handle and carries well, but I feel like I want something a little more weighty, and so I recalled this one, which I've had for some time. This Nata, I think I found it on eBay. It was not expensive. Yeah, so I built this one from the blade. I bought the blade on Ibuki blade kits. I also bought this Nata blade at the same time, which you can see is quite similar to this one, but it is a little different. Seems a little wider, maybe not much, but it is a little shorter. It's a little different. So all of these use Sanmai steel, which is the 3 layers. Yeah, you can't see it so well on this because I've kind of blended it all in. But they put this finish on it that shows you, and that kind of fades. But that is a hard core of carbon steel sandwiched between milder steel, and I don't know if they go all the way up to the top. I suspect not. When I put the handle on this one, when I drilled for the pins, it was easy to drill through, so it definitely doesn't, that hard part doesn't go down into the tang. So I think that it's probably just a core, and then they fold the whole mild steel around it. But you get a high performance blade. I mean, I'm convinced. Is that a ding, or is that maybe a little ding? Because I put the edges on them super fine. I just like that, and then eventually they're going to crumble. You get them that fine, and then you go and whack something dead and unsupported. Now this one will be better because it's got a bit more of straight V with micro bevel there, and this thing is an amazing chopper. So for comparison to these two, we could look at because this is like the hunting knife, I guess, version. So Wood's do it all kind of knife, I guess. I see it as a kind of a gentleman's survival knife. You're not going to chop your way through a car with it, but if you had to build yourself a shelter, you'd be very well off with this, because you can chop and you can cut fine cuts. You could use this to whittle and make traps and whatever you like, anything with this thing. Slice vegetables, you name it. So yeah, here's a SRK, Cold Steel SRK, that I rehandled right after I did this one, so you can kind of see the influence there. But this one, yes, I just drilled in. It's not a. It's, you can see it's all one piece. This one I made a clamshell handle. This is really for convenience to do with the shape of the tang. This one has a tang. You know, it's fairly shorter like this, and it has this taper. It's pretty easy to drill in. And from above, you know, you just kind of go in however you can. It took me ages actually because I fluffed it, but we got there. And yeah, this one I split the piece and then rejoined it because the tang is very wide and long and straight. You know, to drill that out into this would be a nightmare. And yeah, the pins had a bit of fun there. It's a little sloppy though. I didn't have the right sized drill. And this lanyard hole, my first time doing that. Oh yeah, first doing that kind of lanyard tube there. Came out all right. And to compare with the Nata, how about a hatchet? Because they call this a Japanese hatchet, you know, in the English parlance. So you can see that you just got twice the cutting edge. It's a lot easier to hit your target when you've got quite twice the cutting edge. You know what I mean? You just don't need that much accuracy. And interesting to check out the comparative edge geometries if I can kind of get them under there. I'm going to have to maybe try and move up my whole ensemble here without popping it out. We're balanced on a lamp, basically. That's how I run it. You know, you get a notion. Pretty similar. It's a bit more of a V grind on this Nata here. And look how thick, you know. So, actually weight-wise, and so I can hold these here, and then, or I can, you know, show you like that. Can't get the whole thing on camera, really. But, yeah, the hatchet overall is, you know, it's a quarter longer again, or a fifth longer again than the Nata, and weighs about 1.5 times. A lot of the time, if you're going to carve with this, you're going to be choked up here anyway. And it is a carving hatchet, and it's of interest that they put this very straight edge on it. And where you see this curve off down there is because I have been straightening it, you know. It's taking off more, you know, you can see that it's a little that way. So, but I've been straightening it out on the Tormek. What else have we got on the table? Maybe put some of this stuff away, huh? Oh, so sheaths. This was definitely an influence in when it came to me making this sheath. It has this wooden plywood, just pops in there, double retention. I'm not big on poppers. I just, you know, it's just that it makes it fiddly, you know, a little bit fiddly. Anyway, they're not bad, and it's this kind of pleather vinyl stuff. Rattles around a bit, but it's a solid sheath. Very solid. Got a drain hole. My one doesn't have a drain hole yet, but it doesn't really need one because it's stuck on with double-sided sticky tape. You can just pull the whole thing apart and dry it out, clean it, whatever you like. So, piece of balsa wood, piece of welt leather, double-sided tape, jammed it into an axe, Castrum axe dangler sheath thing. You know, you just pop your axe in there. That's the idea. I tried it for that, but I don't wander around with a hatchet on my back. I like knives anyways. So it was cool for that. It looks great, I think. I like the way it looks, you know. I mean, that part more than this part maybe seen unto itself. But, you know, at a glance, it's kind of cool. Because it was flopping because of the balance, so the large handle and so forth, I did that. Little addition there. Piece of Kydex I already had kicking. And glued on some extra welt leather here, kind of doing what you do inside the leather sheath. You know, you put that little click into the welt there, and I just kind of built it on afterwards. I thought, you know, I could drill it and put a pin in there. There are ways you could make it a little more permanent and secure, but it is glued on there with this super glue plus a powder they give you. It's like a filler, and that stuff is pretty rock solid, really, and that goes well, goes nicely. This also goes into the original cold steel sheath better than the original handle, because the original handle was like rubber. It would just kind of in there. But this, you get a good click. And it wasn't deliberate. I just based the handle off the original handle. And so when it came to test it, I was like, okay, I guess it's done. Let me see if I could put it away for a minute. Clack, into the sheath like magic. Should I bother going and finding the sheath to prove it? I'll take a turn. See whether it's immediately visible. Wouldn't be bad to have it. So dark over here, though. Anybody even still there? Are you listening? I'm coming back. I'm going around the other way. So, just have to take my word for it on that. Here's my old pry knife. It's looking a little mashed up. But I have actually, I keep it in the hammer drawer in my toolbox, and I find uses for it. It's kind of nifty. I've been using this thing like mad now. It's awesome. Excellent knife. And here's a good one. Something different in light of what we've been looking at here. I like the billboard. Folding pocket knife from China. Unscathed, but looking like a noob. Fancy that, huh? You know, I am slowing down on the collecting somewhat, but sometimes I just gotta have it. You know? At this point, it's not really like I can't live without it anymore, but I figure I need to know. Right? I need to know for myself. And I haven't spent a lot of time figuring this one out in terms of the cutting performance. It does cut. I mean, I've got some of this thick paper. Is it? I don't think it's as impressive if you cut thick paper, is it? As if you cut thin paper. But anyway, we'll try this really thick. It's practically card. Yeah. So that's a pretty good factory edge. Very thin, very flat grind. Very tidy on the bevels. Amazing how well they got everything to line up with that skinny point on it and everything. Maybe a lot of stock removal. Makes you wonder how well that point's going to hold up, being that fine. But you know, if you got to do something delicate, sometimes you want a pointy point. And you know, now I just got to. This is not going to cut well at all because I've been. Not really either. Oh man, I was beating on this one too. Oops. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. How about yeah, now we're gonna have to check it. Yeah, we're gonna have to check it. Yeah, Yeah, that's rough. It's so cliched, man. I'm just cutting paper. Getting knives out, cutting paper. Fucking hipster. I don't know. But yeah, these are my knives in condition. No stroppy before filmy. How about this one? Brand new. Let's make a first cut with it. Oh, that's pretty good. Ooh. Because I want to rank this one up against this, do some cutting tests against my regrind. Same company, Kershaw, same blade steel, MagnaCut, very similar profile. Looks more dissimilar because of all the material I've removed and the polishing and stuff, but you can see that's a very similar profile. It's slightly different on the grind and stuff, maybe significantly different, you could argue. But, you know, for a head-to-head cutting performance, that would be more about, you know, the quality of the cutting performance of the factory edge versus my completely reground blade with that edge that is on it. And, you know, let's get out all the knives that I'm carrying in my pocket now. This Sodbuster, I don't think this is going to perform. Tried this earlier. This thing needs sharpening badly. But look, did you know that Carl Schleifer made the first Sodbuster? They just didn't trademark the name. So then now Case makes the only Sodbuster. Everyone else defers. Oh, Boker makes a Range Buster. N6 Knives makes a Beer Buster. But nobody else has the audacity to call it a Sodbuster. But this is a Sodbuster. It's one of the first ones. Carl Schleifer, well, first one, I mean, by heritage. Not necessarily by years, comparatively. I don't know. It must be from the 80s, this guy. But as differentiated from a Case Sodbuster. Flat grind. The Case, or the hollow grind. And yeah, that is one of the ways that differentiates. Solid wood handles too. Oh, my little baby lockback I made. Oh, it's got some shmoo on it. Now, I was doing some comparative study on the cardboard today. And this has been through a lot of cardboard today. But, oh, this really sucks to cut, this paper. My knife look dull. It's the paper that makes my knife look sharp. I need to buy some of that paper. Anyway, cutting cardboard. Cliff Stamp said a recurve is no good for cutting cardboard because it traps and then the material bunches up and then... And that does happen with the wrong recurve. But with this recurve and this pointy point, and you get into that cardboard and this, oh, the geometry and everything, okay? Now, I found that this made a smoother cut in. But that happens. And there's precisely the trapping effect on this enables you to get to the end. Somehow, you know, maybe even rip through, but see what I mean? So I'm still maintaining that this is my ultimate cardboard cutter. The GEC Farm and Field pruner. Huh? Where'd I get this idea from? Enough! Thanks for watching.